So they're saying I grew up with just my mom, huh? That must have been really tough. They're saying our home wasn't good enough for their son to marry into. Right now, I'm sitting here with my fiance's parents, and they're saying some really mean things to me. They're not just making fun of me, they're making fun of my mom too. They're a terrible family. I'm not going to agree to marry their son. I'll show them what it feels like and say no to their proposal. They deserve to feel really bad about how they're acting. My name is Emma, and I'm 27 years old. It's just me and my mom in our family. My dad died in an accident when I was little, leaving us alone. When my dad passed away, my mom didn't cry. She always smiled, even though I was crying a lot. My mom worked really hard so I could go to university and study law. Now I work for a big company and stay really busy. My fiancé, Michael, is 30 years old, 3 years older than me. He asked me to marry him after we'd been together for a year and a half. He asked me out after we met at work, and I said yes because I wanted to make my mom happy, even though I thought it might be too soon. Today we're going to meet his parents to talk about our wedding. I'm so nervous. Do I look okay? Don't worry, Emma. You always stress too much. But Michael, you mentioned your parents are quite important. They're considered wealthy. It's more about my granddad, though. He was quite successful. Yeah, his folks are what you call rich. His granddad did well as a business person and left a lot of money when he died. It seems like his dad is living off that money. Do you think I'll be okay with it? I picked this gift from a fancy store, but do you think they'll appreciate it? It's okay, it's okay. What matters is that we brought a gift. Gosh, I'm really anxious, you know. He's just going back to his parents' house. So he's calmer than me. I'm so nervous, it feels like my heart might leap out of my mouth. Try to be a bit more serious. This is a formal meeting to tell them about our wedding. As I started to get annoyed by his relaxed attitude, I saw a huge mansion that took my breath away. It's huge, just like I thought. When I quietly said that, he chuckled proudly. Granddad was quite something. Dad and everyone else are waiting. Let's go in fast. As we stepped into the entrance together, the big door opened by itself, and his parents welcomed us. Hello, you're Emma, right? Our son has told us about you. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Michael's mother. Yes, nice to meet you. I'm Emma. You're so sweet. Please come in. I'll prepare some tea. His mom was calm and smiling the whole time, which helped me relax a bit. His dad was also friendly. So you work with Michael, huh, Emma? That's impressive. A woman working at that company. Thank you. The term a woman bothered me a bit, but I took it as a compliment and replied politely. However, as the conversation went on, I started to feel more and more uncomfortable. While deciding to marry Michael takes courage, Emma. Huh? What do you mean? Michael's parents, in other words, us, were wealthy. Normally, someone might feel intimidated by the difference in status and be hesitant about marriage, you know. Yeah, some people might feel that way. Michael's dad seemed to think they were quite special and didn't hesitate to talk about their status. Michael's mom, who had been calm before, started to show her true colors as the conversation went on. Well, my family wasn't really rich, but as you can see, and pardon me for saying this, I'm quite attractive. Don't you think I'm a good match for my husband? Oh, I see, Emma. You're remarkable for agreeing to marry Michael with your looks. I couldn't do it. I couldn't tell if she was being sarcastic or sincere. I looked at Michael for help, but he didn't seem to care. In fact, he even joined in and started teasing me with his parents. Emma, she's not the most beautiful, but she's good at her job. I think she'll make a good wife. She's highly respected at work, even though she's a woman. I believe she can keep up with me, right? Was he always like this? When it was just the two of us, he seemed more composed. Maybe he acts different around his parents. While I wondered about this, I managed to keep up a polite smile. Suddenly, Michael's dad asked him, "Oh, Michael, have you met her parents yet?" Of course, I've already handled that, so no need to worry. I assume Emma's parents are pretty ordinary. She doesn't have a dad, but her mom seems like any other mom. After Michael's response, his dad's eyebrows twitched. No dad, Emma. What's the story there? Taken aback by the sudden change in Michael's dad, I quickly explained. My dad died in an accident when I was little, so my mom raised me on her own. So you grew up in a single-parent household? Yeah, that's right. I still live with my mom. When I finished explaining, Michael's dad looked deeply thoughtful, and his mom seemed to get upset. They started whispering as if they were having a private conversation. Is everything okay? I asked cautiously, confused by their reactions. At the same time, Michael's mom said something surprising. This could be a problem. What do you mean? Michael, maybe you should think again about marrying her. Mom will find you a girl from a better background. Wait, what are you saying? Michael's mother gave me a cold stare. A girl raised by a single mother isn't suitable for Michael, is she? Right beside her, Michael's father quickly added, exactly, Michael. Despite her career success, coming from a single-parent household is a problem, isn't it? I've warned you many times to be cautious about who you marry, but you. It felt like I was being judged like a faulty item. Hearing such words from my fiance's parents, whom I was meeting for the first time, was completely unexpected. I was left stunned in shock. Then my fiancé, Michael, said something that made me question if I heard correctly. Oh, so she's not even close to meeting the standards. I thought she might barely make it, but I'm already 30 and finding someone else would be a hassle, so I'll just settle for Emma. What? Michael, don't we want to get married because we love each other? You didn't really think I was marrying for love, did you? He laughed loudly, tossing out those harsh words. All I want is a wife who can manage the house like a maid. I can't truly love someone with a family background like yours. That's right, Michael's mom chimed in, agreeing with his cold words. Even Michael's dad nodded along, laughing mockingly. I can't believe this. I thought he was the one who genuinely wanted to marry me out of love. I was completely speechless at this sudden turn of events. As I struggled to find words, Michael's parents continued their verbal assault. Single mother household. It's audacious of you to even consider marrying my son when you come from such a disgraceful background. Absolutely not. Our son cannot marry a girl brought up in such a low-class environment. In that moment, all the emotions I had been suppressing reached their breaking point. Instead of shock, I felt a surge of anger at the insults directed towards my life and my beloved mother. I couldn't contain it any longer. Slowly, I raised my head and calmly addressed them. Fine. Let's cancel the wedding, and I request that you leave immediately. Not only were Michael's parents shocked by my statement, but even he seemed taken aback. He asked me in confusion, Emma, what are you suddenly saying? Are you asking me to leave? Don't you understand? Why are you saying this? I don't get it. In response, Michael's parents started causing a scene. Exactly. We don't have to take orders from someone like you, Emma. Your family background is poor, and your attitude is terrible. What do you think you're doing? Be quiet. I slammed my hand on the desk and stood up. Do you know who owns the land this house is on? What are you talking about? This land was inherited from my father. From your father? Can you prove that this land is yours? Do you have any evidence? When asked for proof, Michael's father started to panic. They seemed to have never checked, whispering to each other. What's the problem? If you own the land, there should be proof, right? Like inheritance documents. We don't have anything like that. This house was built by my father, and this land belonged to him from the beginning. That's how he could build it. As Michael's father spoke, Michael's mother also chimed in. First of all, what are you talking about, Emma? It's impolite for someone like you to discuss someone else's property. Stop it. Just because my parents didn't approve of our marriage, don't start making baseless accusations. It's pointless to keep going like this. I decided to reveal the truth. It seems you're unaware, so I'll explain. Your grandfather only had a lease agreement with my grandfather. What? A lease agreement? It seemed like a new term for him, and Michael's father looked confused. I was frustrated and explained it patiently so even this ignorant family could grasp it. A lease agreement means you're allowed to use the land. Right now, you're using it for free, but when the agreement ends, it goes back to us. So basically, your grandfather is just borrowing this land temporarily from mine. No, that can't be. I've never heard of such a thing. You're lying. Are you calling me a liar? That's not true, and we have the contract to prove it. We've already checked its validity. Michael's father was stunned and flustered by this unexpected truth. No, it can't be true. You're just making it up. You come from a single-parent family and your dad passed away. That doesn't matter. My mom's dad owned a lot of land and lent it to many people. We've been able to live thanks to his support. You own that much land? Yeah, I studied law in college, so my mom and I were looking into our land leases. That's when we found out that this place where you live is also owned by my grandfather. Do you get it now? The three of them were shocked and speechless. They were struggling to understand their situation, but I explained it anyway. Considering this, could you please leave this land soon? According to the contract, the free rental period ended a while ago. I believe my mom sent you a notice beforehand. A notice? No, we never got anything right, Mom. Michael's father looked to his mom for confirmation, but she replied with a pale face. I did notice an envelope coming every month, but I didn't really understand what it was for, so I thought it was junk mail and threw it away. Could that be it? That was the notice, I said with a smile. We've been sending notices for over 2 years now. What will you do? Pay 2 years' worth of land rent or leave? You need to decide. Wait, hold on. You can't just spring this on us out of nowhere. Out of nowhere? We've been asking you to do something for a while now. Please, make a decision, Michael's father begged desperately, kneeling down. We've been facing huge losses in the stock market recently, and our assets are minimal. We were counting on Michael's support from now on. But there was no room for leniency anymore. I had planned to settle things amicably if the marriage was decided and if I received an apology about the notices. But since you've insulted my mother, I've had enough. I'm sorry, but I can't let you continue to stay on this land for free. With that refusal, Michael's parents started to tremble. Even Michael, who had been calm until then, began to change his attitude as if it were the right moment. Hey, Emma, can't you stop this now? I'm going to marry you, so please. What are you saying now? So what? Let's just forget about this. If we get married, there won't be any issues with the land, right? Right? Is this guy for real? I can't imagine marrying someone so disrespectful. At this point, I don't meet a man who insults his fiancé alongside his parents. I'm sorry, but I have to decline. I refuse to become part of a family with such a conceited man like you and your knave parents. At my words, he looked like he was on the verge of tears. Please forgive me. What happened next doesn't need much explanation. Despite boasting about their wealth, his parents were actually struggling financially. They couldn't even afford to pay the land tax for 2 years upfront, revealing their true financial situation. Eventually, they had to leave their land, sell their grandfather's pride and joy, the house, to cover the overdue taxes. They tried to maintain their lifestyle for a while, but it seems their money dried up quickly. Now they're living in a small apartment as a family of 3. Word about the whole ordeal spread quickly within the company, and he lost his reputation. However, his parents rely on his income, so it seems he's stuck. Sometimes I receive romantic emails from him, but I never reply. I have no feelings for him whatsoever, and I doubt I'll ever trust him again. He's become the subject of gossip at the company, and I secretly hope he continues to struggle in his tough situation.